produced feature documentary.
Guys, is college necessary? Thoughts? Pro or is anti-college? No, the reality is
Accepted.
No.
A story that follows 4 students at the controversial TM Landry College Prep School and their high-stakes quest for elite college admission. We spent the last...
Well, I feel like if you have the resources and you can, right? And you can, you know, if it's at your disposal, but you probably should. Let's be honest.
Points that are the result.
Right. You probably should if it's kind of whatever. If your path is already if your path already needs a degree and you have the resources and you can, probably should, right? Because you can. Otherwise, why not? But if not, then yeah. The slimmer middle ground is opposing beliefs together, discussions to discover viewpoints of information.
Result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
Nope. My grandmother being a college professor, when she and my grandfather graduated from college and earned their master's degrees, they were literally able to take that to the bank as a down payment on a home. A college degree meant guaranteed income.
I enjoyed my 15-minute stay. xQcOW. See you next week.
Well, it helps.
Step forward.
Well, I feel okay. We'll see what the arguments.
If you agree with the prompt, my parents expected me to go to college.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Smile.
Even though my dad didn't go to college himself, he, went through a little bit of like an associate's degree, but his main thing was a photographer. And then my mom, being from Jamaica, completely different, education being her way of getting out of that kind of environment, poverty, things like that. She always wanted me to go to school, and they both put me through private school to better prepare me for college. So they kind of started me off on the path as soon as they could.
Growing up, I actually didn't even realize there was an option to not attend college. I thought that part was mandatory, but you may or may not graduate. It was very important to my grandmother as well, being a college professor.
Yeah. Growing up, I think everybody has these mindsets, or whatever. Maybe, perhaps, but I feel like whenever you get closer, you get to understand that that's not how it works.
And when she and my grandfather graduated from college and earned their master's degrees, they were literally able to take that to the bank as a down payment on a home. At the time, a college degree meant guaranteed income.
My dad was always the type of person to say, get your degree, I don't care what it's in. So I always felt a little bit of flexibility about what specifically I wanted to do. And that's why I kind of...
I have a small thing, guys. I also feel like on a resume, okay? On a resume, if you put anything anything can be good. Anything you could put in there, right, is a good thing. And the degree is also really good. And it was like, oh man, not okay. Then it's better than nothing. It's better than putting blank spaces. Having anything is better than having nothing. So of course, some things can help.
I took community college as
what I'm saying, man.
To try a lot of different things and see what I'm interested in. And
oh yeah, you worked at McDonald's, pff, man. Me, I had no job. Like,
bank.
What?
My name is Pam and I'm pro-college. The main thing that I feel like I missed out on by going to community college first was that I wasn't given the opportunity to pursue leadership roles in like clubs or things that I was a part of. There is a bit of a stigma with transfer students that you're not, you weren't there on campus long enough. I encountered a lot of people who would discuss feeling imposter syndrome or feeling like they weren't good enough to be at a school like UCLA, that they couldn't do as well as the people who had been there all 4 years. And I definitely felt that feeling sometimes as well.
Can the disagreeers step forward?
Well, it's not really disagreeers, it's just personal experience. It's not, you don't ever disagree, just don't.
There was no expectation for me to go to college whatsoever. So it was really my personal decision to go. I saw a lot of poverty like in my community, in my neighborhood. And so how do I avoid this situation as an adult? There was no plan B for me. So it was like, if I don't do it, I'm going back to my hometown and I'll be working at a factory somewhere, or I can do it and, see what happens.
College's use of affirmative action is problematic.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. What?
So,
guys, this guys, that
cool.
is a
I really
fucking
hate
word
Rainbow
salad.
Six. Anyone got a
College's
better game in
use
mind?
of affirmative action. Man, what affirmative action? Definition: a set of procedures designed to eliminate unlawful discrimination among applicants, remedy the results of such discrimination, prevents discrimination in the future. Bruh, if you have the grades, you have the grades.
His use of affirmative action is problematic.
So my personal experience with affirmative action, when I went to the PWI, I was chosen pretty much based on affirmative action. There was a lot of
Predominantly white institution. A PWI is a term to describe an institution with higher learning in which whites account for 50% of greater of the student enrollment.
heavy marketing, hey, come to our school, come to our school. Affirmative action can be problematic in the sense that when these students reach campus, there is no place for them.
Yeah, it's like, okay, they have clubs, they have other people that they could reach out to, but it's more like once we get you in, you're on.
Guys, I'm not a mathematician, checkers. I know the stats. I know the stats of ethnicities in the United States. Okay, I don't know what they are. Okay,
69 months.
I personally don't know the math behind it or the stats behind it. What is the percentage of whites? Sorry, guys. Guys, I'm using the video. I'm using the video. This is the video. This is the video's language. I'm just referring. I'm just using the language. What a percentage? 57%. 57%. So if the 57% adds 50%, is that
On your own, you
bad?
gotta figure out by yourself. And I also think it's being problematic when it comes to society, because now you're having a lot of white Americans saying that the only reason this person got into this school was because of this reason.
Especially private institutions, these Ivy League schools, certain types of people attend these schools. If you don't necessarily fit their standards, then once again you can be ostracized from that group.
Wait, this is what face?
Fit their standards, types of people attend these schools. If you don't necessarily fit their standards, then once again you can be ostracized from that group. My name is Zakia and I'm pro-college. Not going to college is a privilege depending on who you are and who you know. I feel like colleges support minorities depending on where you are. For me personally, I'm from Baltimore. There were opportunities for minorities. Of course, it's a majority minority city. If I was in another state that was maybe more conservative or predominantly white, I do feel like I would not have had as many opportunities.
Whoa, hey, what the fuck? What is this escalation of the discussion, man?
24 months xQcOW.
Meritocracy can't exist in the same place where you have nepotism and legacies and all of that. But there's always some sort of an action.
Guys, I'm also very not against, not at all, in giving more resources or having certain quotas for minorities. Okay, guys, there's so much fucking infrastructural fucking problems and shit that don't give them the same tools as everybody else. Okay, I think it's okay in certain areas to give them a hand to fucking boom. You have the same tools. Here's a tool. We'll see how it pans out. I think setting that precedent of doing it a little bit and a little bit and a little bit overall does help, and it helps. It helps, man. Okay. Overall, if people have less tools, okay, it's okay. Oh my God! Out of 100 students, one didn't get in. Oh my God! Because some minority had to be helped. Oh man, I can't believe this is happening. That's fucking stupid. Stop being such a fucking entitled cocklord, Melissa. You had all the odds in your favor. You had everything lined up, Melissa. Some people don't. Some people don't have the same tools. Some people don't have the same things to work with, and they were still got close enough. Well, you know what? They bridged their gap, right? They probably did better in comparison with the tools that they had compared to you. Fuck you. You don't make it in. I don't give no fuck.
involved in getting people into.
Yeah, I'm serious. What about it?
Can I get
But
a welcome
in
to the
comparison
jungle?
with the tools that they had, they probably did better than you did with the tools that you had. In comparison, so yes, they should be allowed to fucking get in, do a little bit of help and a little bit of extra tools. They should be allowed. They should fucking help fucking minorities for that. That's how it is.
To universities. I personally know someone who attended classes at a certain Ivy League university with a future president. And he was a terrible student, but of course he got in because he was legacy. And
Bruh, some immigrants from like Lebanon or some shit or some whatever, motherfucker, where I'm from, they didn't even know fucking French when they came here. When they started going to class, they didn't know the basis of French. And some of them were outperforming us in motherfucking French class. How do you justify that? They put in the work, they do better. And since none of them come close to it, you know what? They deserve to get that bridge, fucking bridge for them. Motherfucker. End of story. If they got close, very close to some of us who had French since the beginning, yeah, they deserve it because in comparison, they've been performing more with the tools that were given. So the state and the institutions should give them that extra tool to get there and bridge that gap. Fuck you, man. You're probably just mad because you had fucking like 61% and it was 60% to get in. You're like, I wasn't in, some other guy got in. Yeah, work hard next time.
And his family donated a building. So, and that's how you become president. That's America. Affirmative action is good to give people an opportunity who wouldn't otherwise have it.
I think the intention is good, and you can't speak to intention when the system looks the way it does.
We also have to factor in the aspect of finances and money and schools making money. And when we're talking about intention, yes, there might be one professor that's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. But that doesn't speak for the entire university. That doesn't speak for the board. Is the intention to give us minorities an opportunity, or is the intention to not hear complaints?
To boost their numbers, boost their diversity levels.
Well, I actually think about it differently. I think,
bro, how can you tell where the help comes from? If there's help, just take it. Even I'm sorry, this is gonna be a very bad take. Even if it's both, who cares? It's still something. Just go. I don't know. Like what?
Affirmative action, definitely works against.
Would you prefer not to get the help?
It's nepotism, and I feel like if it were no affirmative action, a lot of black students wouldn't be able to go to PWIs. And so I agree that, once you get there, there is a difficulty being a student of color on a predominantly white institution. With that position, it also was the other side that would say that same thing. They would say, we won't let you in because you won't be a good fit here, because you won't fit the culture. And that's the way that they would use to bar people from being able to go. And so, I won't say like it's better for them to turn us away because they don't have the resources. Like, let me get there and let me figure that out for myself versus you telling me that I won't be a good fit there. And that's what affirmative action allows. And I also will say, like, white women benefit from affirmative action more than any other minority group. It's not necessarily about, students of color specifically being allowed on campus. It's about, minorities being allowed.
Yeah, maybe I don't understand it with affirmative action. I think this is kind of a complicated topic. This is like mostly like I don't know. I don't really understand it. Maybe
A degree doesn't qualify you for most jobs.
Experience does, but in order to get experience, you need to have a degree initially. So I don't know.
I think where we're seeing the world currently go in terms of the job market is a lot of employers are hiring for experience. They're hiring to see, do you know what you're talking about? And that's where I think internships really come into play. And that's why a lot of—
in most places, a degree is a foundation and experience is your way through. But in order to get your way through, you need to have the foundation. So it's like a dilemma that you don't even have to have. It's
college students are going for internships, is they need to go out there and get that experience so that way employers want to hire them. No employer is going to turn you down if you're like, hey, I have all of this experience, or hey, I know how to do exactly what you're hiring for, but oh, I didn't go to college for 4 years.
Having that listed as a qualification and a requirement kind of is like a gatekeeping thing more so than who's going to perform the best on the job. I'm Michelle, and I'm anti-college. I became anti-college when I graduated high school valedictorian, and I realized that Continuing on with college would be a death sentence. My godmother actually gave me a book called The Education of Millionaires, and she hadn't read the book in advance, so she kind of thought it was going to encourage me to invest in college. But what the book actually did was explain the stories of a lot of people who became millionaires without a formal education.
Yeah, I feel like it's also, there's another kind of like bad dilemma. I'm not speaking for her, but overall, is that most people that dropped out of school, right? It's because they had better opportunities in that span of time, right? To get to what they wanted. They left because they had better paths or whatever. They didn't leave and then they found a path. Most of them left because they found a path. That's fair enough. I think it's stupid to say, oh yeah, well Bill Gates is a dropout. Well, he was doing something that was gonna get him somewhere. Like, no shit, you fucking moron. Like, oh yeah, me, I learned nothing. I'm dropping out, and tomorrow I'm gonna go to the fucking Dollar Tree. I'm gonna buy some fucking cards and notepads. I'm gonna start writing. I'm gonna have an idea, bro. Like, what? You can do that while fucking studying, motherfucker, and then choose your path if it pops out. Like, what?
Most companies don't take the time to like read that resume, they feed it through a machine. If you talk the talk and know certain people to jimmy your way in there, you don't really need the qualifications to do the job. People who have the qualifications don't get the job.
I've been job hunting over the last couple months. I started like a spreadsheet where I was putting how many of them are asking for X amount of years of experience. Almost all of them were college degree needed. I still even got like maybe 3 or 4 for every 40 that I applied to.
I'm originally from Miami, and I used to work for the county, and I used to work for social events. And now that I've moved here, it's really hard for me to transition towards the same field because I tell people, hey, look, I used to run football tournaments. I used to host food drives. But because I don't have a degree.
I literally drove off to play video games. Yeah, and I was very good at them. And I had a foundation, but that path that I was on could have gotten me there. And you know what? You know what the reality is? It fucking did. Fuck you.
In marketing or in event coordination, people, like you said, when I put on Indeed, they say, hey, you need a degree to get in. But because I don't have that degree, I'm not even allowed in the door. My name is Kenny, and I'm pro-college. Going to college is really important to me because I've had a long line of family members who have been educators. My mom, who passed away from cancer, was a teacher. And when she came to this country, the only dream that she had for me was to go to college. In the early stages of me going to school, it felt like a very hard burden to carry. The fact that I don't know what I want to do when I go to school, but I just have to do it because it's somebody else's wishes. But eventually, when I started growing up and realizing that I have my own reasons for going to college, and I, on top of that as well, can fulfill my mom's dream, was something that really kind of pushed me towards wanting to continue my education and going to school.
All student loan debt should be forgiven.
Okay, no, stop. Okay. Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
It's crazy.
Okay, this is what we call utopia Andes. Okay, guys, this is a problem that we have in America and everywhere, okay? Especially on social media, where these people live in a world that doesn't exist. It's called utopia. It's a perfect world. Motherfucker, that the world they live in is a world where the teachers don't have salaries. They live off of fucking of fake money. The lights turn on in the universities because the power is free because it comes from fucking the lightning or some shit. Okay, it's not a business. Yeah, it sucks, but in America, it's all a business. The way that the way that they make money is that people get in, is people give money, people pay money. That's how they turn the lights on. Motherfucker.
To me that you go for 4 years and you are.
Yeah, you're right. Your country probably pays for that, and it's free for you. Yeah, man, because your government is smart, right, and has good programs, and your government, and the people at the top, they know they're doing it. If you live in America, the thing is that your institution is fucking. I'm not gonna say it. They haven't made these infrastructures to do that. So. What you have to do is that if you live in America and you live in the real world, well, that's the reality of it. End of story. Stop living in this. But if the motherfucker, if I give you $1 million, you'd be a millionaire. Boom. Okay, so what?
Paying off hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We can all close our eyes and have these dreams, but the reality is that's not.
And you might actually meet all of the payments and you still have like double to pay. A really popular payment plan that we've been seeing, Purdue University started doing this, it's called income share agreements. So instead of paying for
a financial structure which an individual organization provides something of value, if there's a recipient in exchange for to pay back a percentage of their income in a fixed number of years.
Your degree up front, if college actually helps you land that job, you start to pay a small percentage of your salary over the span of a few years. And after 5, 6, 7 years, whatever percentage you pay, great. If not, and you're not making a lot of money, then like the college actually failed you in helping you get that career that it was supposed to.
What?
In the first place.
I like that. It puts accountability on the institution where it should be.
Absolutely.
Not the borrower.
It's very easy to be like, well, in like the Nordic countries, you pay $5 and you get your degree. Like, it's easy.
Wayne, that's smart. If you land a job because of your skill and your results, and it's bad, why is it that they failed them? You failed yourself, you fucking failure pussy. You're a bum. You're a bum.
But it's different
Fuck
here,
you.
and it has been, and it will be
You're a
unless
bum.
some big change happens. But I don't know what that is. I don't know how do we address the millennials who went through college and have racked up billions in debt, and how do we change it to make it better for our future generations too?
And I really think it should be canceled just because of the pretenses in which
You get what you can, what you put out. If you don't put out enough, right, to where that's not enough of value to society, and they give you a number, it isn't enough to fucking pay that thing. How is that the college's fault? You're bum.
the loans were
Like
actually
what?
given out. I'm like, it's literally the definition of predatory lending in terms of, you know, giving thousands of dollars to someone with no credit score.
18-year-olds.
Yeah. And so, you know, when they get those loans and they don't really understand, like, the interest is racking up, and then 6 months after you graduate, and whether you have a job or not, you're gonna have to start paying them back.
Why, y'all? What's going on?
My disagreement is in the way that it's handled. There's this particular scam which...
Okay, guys, if you take a student loan, okay, and it like 100K, like 100K, 150K, okay, and everybody did that, all the students, and nobody paid them, right? How does the college keep the lights on? How do they pay the professors, and how do they pay the books? How do they pay anything? How the fuck can they maintain the fucking building and shit? The government? Yeah, but in reality, in real life, the government doesn't in some of these countries like America. The government doesn't. So you have to live in the current world. In that world that we live in, where the government doesn't, how will they leave the lights on if the government doesn't?
Is widespread. People have gotten caught up in other scams, and those are not just...
If you're saying they should, then it's a complete fucking different thing.
Immediately forgiven. I do understand that it's kind of like, it's a different situation because of how much pressure was placed upon you getting into this scam, even governmental pressure as well, which is why, you know, they bear some responsibility in it.
I was a victim of one of these scams. I took a few loans out, and then my last year, I didn't have enough, and so I took a 5K loan, and that one was the worst one. Like, what held me back from stepping forward was the word all. Some people might have taken out that loan.
Oh, the government should cover your loans. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe perhaps, yeah. Yeah, if you go through the right programs and with the certain results and meritocracy, you get through certain loans and certain qualifications, whatever, right? And maybe the government should, yeah.
Gone to college, and now they're making tons of money that they can afford to pay.
As long as they're not bumming
if
out.
somebody's capable of contributing, then why wouldn't they? I'm Daniel, and I'm anti-college. I took a lot of different classes while I was in art school, and I gained, I guess, a wider set of skills.
You know what? Maybe not. Maybe the interest shouldn't be that predatory on student loans, right? The interest shouldn't be that hardcore. It shouldn't, in my opinion, right? It should be super low because you're so young that the banks know for a fact they still will make money on that There's no interest. They will still make money off of your ass because you're so young. Even if you don't pay for fucking decades, they still make a lot of money. Okay, so yeah, the interest rate shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be high.
My other brother did. The thing that felt unfair to me was that it cost the same for us to go through college, yet I got a better return.
What did he say? Art school?
I'm anti-college. I took a lot of different classes while I was in art school, and I gained, I guess, a wider set of skills than my other brother did. The thing that felt unfair to me was that it cost the same for us to go through college, yet I got a better return on my schooling than he did. and he still has to pay the same amount that I was having to pay. If someone's unsure of their career path, is it worth them going hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt when they don't know what they're going to do with their life?
College campuses are radicalizing young people.
I hesitated at first because I was interpreting that as the universities influencing people, but I don't think that's the case. I think people who might have certain beliefs are going to college and just spreading it to their
NFT designer
peers. So I think that as the universities. I hesitated at first because I was interpreting that as the universities influencing people, but I don't think that's the case. I think people who might have certain beliefs are going to college and just spreading it to their peers. So in that regard,
what is radicalizing it? Like ideologies?
When you see a headline and you see that a college is pursuing this or it's agreeing with this, I feel like it has a lot more damage towards a story, as if the school is promoting this type of behavior. And I feel like because they notice that a lot of people are getting a lot of attention for those specific schools, it's like, okay, let's give them more incentive to do it, because it's helping our name get out there.
If you're not, in these spaces where you're hearing a lot of arguments from every side, it's easy to be like, well, that doesn't apply to me, so why would I care? I think for me, at least.
You know what I like though, is having the skill to understand what is objective and what is subjective, and when you go to school, to try to get your blinders on to learn things that are objective and not too opinionated by the people who are teaching the fucking lessons or whatnot. And if you acquire that skill, I don't think you can be radicalized that much. But I don't know.
In a college environment, I was forced to see these things and more exposed than I would have been if I hadn't gone.
When I heard the word radical, I paused it for a second because I think it has a negative connotation just in the media, and so I feel like when you hear people say radical anything, you're like, okay, that sounds like something bad. I feel like it's really the education, they're learning more about the society and about the history of the government in America, and so that does sometimes make you angry and makes you want to speak out and become an activist for a certain topic or position.
Guys, I had sociology 2 years, I had anthropology, and I had politics 2 years, 3 years actually, 3 years of politics. Okay, motherfucker. Okay, I wasn't radicalized, dude.
In my mind though, it's no different than
Unless...
what algorithms are perpetuating on social media right now. If you're on Twitter, you're going to be following people that are within your space.
And what's Cégep? Unsick, motherfucker. Unsick college. Fuck you. I went there, man. For 3 years.
And you're going to be seeing that content. And I think that's actually playing more of a role in radicalizing and doing more in the political space than what we're actually seeing at college campuses.
Me personally, I grew up in a conservative Christian household. Growing up in those environments, I feel like radicalization, it really starts at home. It starts with what your parents tell you about people. I think that when we...
only college debt, dude, motherfucker, dude, my semesters were like $272 like that.
We get to college, we're in more of a free space to voice these opinions. And even on social media, there's also a level of anonymity, so people feel more comfortable sharing certain viewpoints. I feel like these things start at home and they're just pushed more to the forefront once you get a little older.
Colleges prioritize making money over providing quality education.
Student that was able to afford college or got admitted through affirmative action says it's privileged to not go to college. I'm laughing out loud.
As someone who works at a college, and it's a business first, and I see that firsthand, I think it really does come down to the bottom line for a lot of institutions in terms of them making money. And so they will make certain decisions in terms of, what will allow us to make more money, what makes us look better as an institute versus, necessarily the care of the student being the primary concern.
The teachers that I had at community college were no better or worse than the ones at UCLA, sometimes better. They were nicer, they were more approachable, smaller class size, more classes available in community college. When I got to UCLA, I thought, there's one class.
Well, but I feel like if they make a lot of money, they can hire top professionals and get top of the line equipment and whatnot, right? So most places, I would say in general, that make more money and have a better running business, have better quality education. It kind of goes hand in hand in a capitalism system.
And it's only at 5 p.m. Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to make a schedule about that? So I kind of realized a lot of things when I got to UCLA that this is not exactly what I thought it would be.
The college that I graduated from, had a heavy...
My brother. People that, my friends that were going to private schools that their parents paid more, they had like pools and shit, and they had better equipment or whatever, and they had cooler, and if they were failing, they had more support. Bitch, man, where you from? It wasn't like that at all, man. Like, what are you talking about? It was not the same level. If that people would, yeah, we didn't have. We didn't have a pool. We didn't have a pool. What if I wanted to go swimming? We couldn't.
Focus on freshmen. It was all about freshmen. Bring in more freshmen because the graduation rate is already so low. Freshmen bring in money. Freshmen are there the whole year. And then if they stay, they stay. If they don't, they don't. They were changing all of the dorm buildings to freshman dorms so that only freshmen have housing.
Can you talk about the quality of dorms too?
Oh!
For the tens of thousands of dollars you're paying.
Terrible. Yes.
What is that? How does that make sense?
Also, when you look at public institutions and you see the salaries, 90% of the time you're going to see that the highest paid person is a college coach. You know, and that'll show you where the actual money is going to, and it's like millions of dollars more than every other person that works at the institute. My name is KC. I am pro-college. College was an opportunity for me, definitely, with the ability to lift me out of poverty. I grew up in a single-parent household, raised by my mom, and so I think that just the ability to go to college and earn a degree set me up for higher paying jobs and the ability to pay my mom's bill as well as be a better person in my community.
The college...
Bro, what the fuck? Let's go swimming in Quebec.
Acceptance system is rigged.
Yeah, it kind of is rigged.
So I went to one of these events that the school that I was really strong about, just to learn more about the admission process. And my mom ran into the one.
I feel like if you're better than the average of applicants, you don't have to worry about being rigged. I think you kind of have to worry about being rigged if you're on the lower end.
These acquaintances she met from like back in the day, and he had put all of his children through the school. And one of the things he told us was that the school made it super competitive to get in so that their acceptance rate looks like, 8%. But for transfers, it's much higher. Like that's the way into, I would argue, most of these schools if you don't have the proper grades or maybe you can't afford it that year. There's back doors, and I'm just hearing that, I'm assuming there are more back doors.
My dream college when I was in high school was I really wanted to go to Georgia Tech. I started my college admissions process in West Virginia, and going and visiting the college counselor on Georgia Tech's campus, they were like, this is what you need to do, these are what you need to hit, this is how many APs you need to have. My junior year, my parents moved us to Tennessee, and I ended up applying to Georgia Tech from Tennessee, and I got denied. And I was heartbroken because I had met all of the stats that she had told me to me. I ended up calling my admissions counselor at Georgia Tech because I developed a relationship with her, and I remember crying with her in the car and just being like, what happened? And she straight up told me that if you would have applied from West Virginia from your school, you would have gotten in. My name is Mehek, and I'm anti-college.
I know what that means.
When I first entered college, I thought that you had to have a college degree to be successful and to start your own business. And I met a bunch of people that had dropped out of college that were between the ages of 18 and 23. That was eye-opening to me because there were people that had raised millions of dollars to start their own companies and they didn't have that college background. My mom has her master's, my dad is a doctor. So for me to turn around and say, hey, I actually don't even think I need 4 years of college, I think I can actually just go out and do things on my own. It was a big cultural shock for them.
I think about college as like what we said in terms of being a business, and I feel like all business.
Yeah, but what about when these businesses fail and whatnot? I think
college graduates on average.
Yeah, I feel like you can't base your idea of what you should or shouldn't do based on the survivorship bias and these.
Network with professors. Professors are high experts
in businesses are rigged to
can get you many jobs. xQcOW.
Make as much money as they possibly can. The institute makes more money when students are out of state and paying out of state tuition. Knowing what we know about college acceptance, what would you all want to see? Like, there's no way that every person that wants to go to a particular college can go. So it's like they have to find some way to weed people out.
I think there needs to be more transparency overall with universities. Students really need to be like aware of like what they're going to college to do, who they are looking to learn from. I think will be beneficial. Can they learn from them once they get there? I'm Kyle, and I'm anti-college.
Can't you just apply to a bunch of colleges at the same time, whatever, and just spread it around and be like, oh, okay, we'll see how it goes, type of thing, and you get your replies or whatnot, or what?
College. If I could do it all over again, I would choose not to go to college.
Costs money, how so?
Because there have been several benchmarks that I can think of where I've progressed creatively that have happened outside of the classroom in terms of
Dude, it's $100 each. Chill the fuck out. Oh my god, chill.
Or things.
I thought it was gonna be like 10K or 20K. $100. Guys, the semesters are like fucking 20K a pop, man.
That I have learned from people working in the industry, or lessons that I have discovered about myself just from sitting doing the craft that I want to do, that more or less was not taught in the classes that I thought I would be taught.
We should stop telling kids that they should all go to college.
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I disagree with that. I think it's good to set an ideal. I think it's good to set an ideal and high goals and work your way down, and then to say, you know what, kid, you can do what the fuck you want, pal. Just go ahead and surf it up and do what the fuck you want, and then work your way up. Always easier to work your way down and carve the rock than to fucking make a rock out of thin air, man. What is wrong with you, man?
I think some kids, if they are really, really excelling in the school, then yeah, that you want to encourage that one. But you know, you'll always have that kid that just has no idea what they want to do, and that person shouldn't be pressured to go. Shouldn't even be encouraged to go. They need to just figure out something. But
or if their skills are.
As someone that would a college degree, I disagree. Okay, not because your situation or your personal experience didn't pan out the way you wanted with college, doesn't mean that it pans out for the most people, or it's not a good ideal to have. Mother sucker.
They're not conducive to like
yeah,
a normal degree, like go to trade school, learn a trade, and you'll make money. You know?
I think that we need to switch away from telling every single kid that you need to go to school, more like, hey, look, if you don't want to go to school, here are some other options.
Yeah, definitely like more career focused, more profession focused. Like especially in like some of our cases when we're expected to go to college and people don't care like what degree you have. That's
pretty fun to set high goals that include college. Okay. Even when I was young though, yeah. When I had the idea of college, it also meant all the trades that I would want to do, whatever. It's everything though, dude. Yeah, I get it. College doesn't have like probably like a high plumbing shit or whatever. You have to go to a trade school, but still though, it's the idea of education. It's the idea of staying in school to learn, whatever that means.
A little bit of a red flag because you really need to be intentional about the choices you make.
College is no longer an indicator of future success. With the internet, with just all of this access to knowledge, you can create your own future outside of college. And I think it's really good for helping you move into career paths where like doctor, lawyer, where like you do need a higher education. I think other than that, I think it's a lot cheaper and it makes...
This guy says rich kid take... Bro, we were kind of broke, man. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Dude, what do you fucking know about my upbringing? Like, I've said all the stories before. And,
it's a lot more sense for people to find a trade school or to go to their local community college and just get the skills that they need to, so that way they can start working.
I was going to say, I definitely don't think that college is for everyone, but I think that most of the time when we hear conversations of people saying you should go to college, it's usually from people who did not go to college. It's like generic advice in terms of like, you should do something with your life. That's really what they're trying to do.
You're a sheep. And you know what at the end of the day, dude? You're going to say you're not a sheep, but you're gonna be fucking broke and miserable, and you're gonna say, but at least I'm not a sheep, bro. And you're gonna crack nights saying, I'm broke, but at least I'm not a sheep. I'm like, oh my god,
just use college because I do think it is still an indicator of success. Like I know you said it's not. You know, statistically, you are more likely to make like $1 million more than an average high school graduate.
That's a wrap on the group discussion.
That's kind of interesting. I kind of wish it would get a bit harder. I like when they complain, like some hosts.